Replace. Good to see you, sir. Starting with the news from Italy, of course. We've had our correspondent there. We've had experts talking about this this evening. You've got the social media reaction and coverage.
In particular, one image and one video that was picked up by most news websites today because it gives a little glimmer of hope and positivity.
And they need it.
In the midst of all of the sadness. So it's the image of a 10-year-old girl being pulled from the rubble about 17 hours after she ended up in the rubble, I suppose. And you can see here, this is on the USA Today website, but as I say, picked up by news websites around the world. And you can see the rescue team pulling back the various parts of the rubble and debris, and the image of that girl being pulled out. And actually quite a moving moment, I think, when she does emerge and puts her arms around the neck of the rescuer. You can see the images as they unfold, Mark.
I mean, this is effectively a miracle that
I think certainly
could survive this. It really is.
17 hours afterwards.
Miracle is an overused word, isn't it? But
yeah, well, I think
the fact that kid's been pulled out alive is remarkable. Yeah.
It is indeed, and very touching scene. So I think a lot of people anxious to focus on that image as opposed to the sadder aspects of what is very.
We're now 36 hours on as well, so obviously the further it goes, the feeling is the less chance there is of pulling more people out alive. But let's hope and pray. Eh?
Indeed. Moving on, Mark, to the continuing coverage of the burkini ban in France.
Because this one just doesn't go away, does it?
It doesn't go away.
And it gets more and more passionate and angry every day, doesn't it?
That's right. Well, the international reaction is now at full steam, I guess. And there was a protest today in front of the French embassy in London. Hashtag wear what you want. Hashtag my body rules. Burkini gate. I'm not sure if it's quite a gate yet, but anyway. And hashtag WTF France. That one we were talking about yesterday. So a lot of comment that is quite critical. You see there one of the images from London, the French Republican slogan, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, being reimagined for sisterhood. And that's Amnesty UK also supporting that drive. Others using the same hashtag to, I suppose, support the idea that women need to be encouraged to move towards emancipation. Too bad women in Saudi Arabia and many other countries can't wear what they want. And I think the next two tweets show the extent to the two different sides of this coin. In the France of 2016, fighting for women's emancipation or the emancipation of women is therefore an attack on women, says Vincent here on Twitter. And so essentially what he's saying is this ban on the burkini and the whole related set of issues is about women's emancipation or women's liberation, whereas this headline in The Independent says the burkini ban is misogynistic. So is it misogynistic, Mark, or is it about the emancipation of women? Anyway, that's
when you see police officers forcing a woman to undress on a beach, and I know there's talk about that was actually set up in some way.
Some have been speculating.
She was there with no bag, with no book, with nothing else except the photographer who was there to somehow snap this. But the fact that the police are forcing a woman to take off clothes on a beach like that, it's that is really distasteful.
Well, I think that's what generated the most amount of negative comments abroad. And
angry.
Even a lot of prominent French feminists and those who defend French secularism were very critical of that. Now, on a slightly lighter note, if you can find a light angle on this story.
Okay, this has got to be a good segue, James.
BuzzFeed have found it. 14 men who must be liberated from the tyranny of, I'm not sure what the headline was, the tyranny of their beachwear, etc. So this was put together, this creative piece by Becky Barneycoat of BuzzFeed. And here you have Matthew, I can never pronounce his surname. Anyway, he's
McConaughey.
Thank you. He's being horribly oppressed, apparently, and this journalist wants to see his man boobs immediately. And we also have Jason, who is oppressed by the tyranny of his wetsuit.
Jason Statham.
There you go. Thank you. I'm rubbish with all of the celebrities. We're here to liberate you, Jason, says the BuzzFeed staff. Meanwhile, Justin, I'm sorry, but the rules state that all liberal people with Western values must be very naked at the beach. Take it off, all of it, etc. In any case, so this journalist is very much defending the notion of male nudity. This is a vile affront to everything we stand for. Reveal your body, David, and we'll finish with this one. Getting more effusive and what would you say, determined as that article progresses.
Who is that?
I don't know. I should, but
It looks like the rugby player Ugo Bonival, but
in any
I'm not
case,
sure it
I
is.
mean, that parallel has been made quite a bit in the last while. Wetsuits are similar to burkinis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Can't people wear what they want? The whole thing. I'm not sure if we have time to talk about Sonia Rykiel, who passed away.
Very briefly, James.
In any case,
very briefly,
there were parallels because she was one of these people who did really move towards liberating female clothing, etc., and for independence of women. And there is a big history of that in French fashion, sort of revolutionising women's clothing and how that played into the whole women's lib movement and emancipation and all of that. And so, unfortunately, or maybe I don't know. Anyway, burkini and Sonia Rykiel were in the same breath a lot today. Some people saying
of course.
she will now never have the chance to design a burkini, and I don't think she ever
A
would.
very whimsical remark. Sonia Rykiel's died at the age of 86. Thank you, James, very much indeed. James Creedon with the Media Watch.